Good morn-ish. Oh, there's Bibi and pictures of ice cream because that's what I send him. Nice. Welcome to twitch.tv/ice cream uploads. My name is Graham Day and I'm joined by not only pictures of ice cream, but Bibi. I'll read Bib.
Yeah. It's very apt for the name of of this podcast, though, Graham, to be fair. So I think we're just getting, we're honing in.
We'll let people assume that's what all we do because we're ice cream uploads. All we do is just send. Bibi, have you seen this? Oh, that's a really good ice cream. That. Oh,
that's a great scoop.
Nice curve on the scoops there. Proper round, spherical. Oh, you love to see it. Ooh, the flaking on it as well. Oh, look at that flake. It's proper. Oh, it's kept its. Okay,
it's proper.
You get the idea. You are ice cream uploads after all. That is true. Good morning, chappers. Good after morning or good morn-ish, depending on who you are. Welcome in to twitch.tv/ice cream uploads. My name is Graham Dave, joined by Mr. Bib. And as mentioned, we are ice cream uploads. This is The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, and we are going to bring you the biggest, the best, and breaking stories from the world of games over the next hour or so. We're going to give you our thoughts and impressions on those stories, and we want to hear your thoughts and impressions too. So if you're in the chat, please do feel free to get involved. And then you can give us your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. That's kind of how the whole thing works. Please do get involved because we are live on twitch.tv/ice cream uploads, where we go live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m.
Ish.
Nice. It's 12:25, so that's kind of ish. Nice. Yeah, we'll take it. It's fine. It could be worse. Anyway, if you are in the stream, please do feel free to get involved because we are live on Twitch, but the live stream is turned into a podcast, a video on YouTube, and an audio podcast on iTunes and Spotify and SoundCloud and Google Play. So there's lots of places where close to 200,000 people have watched the stream on demand. So please do feel free to get involved on behalf of those. Before we jump into the news, I want to remind you that we do have a loot drop. Every month, one subscriber bags a prize, and that subscriber is always Beans or Gaming Nacho. That's basically it. Yeah.
Confirmed.
That's all it is. No, Nacho won his first loot drop yesterday, and it was his birthday as well, which is nice. Which is nice. The loot drop was actually exported on Monday, but because we're busy and that, we didn't actually get to do the draw until after yesterday's episode of The Scoop. So we did that just after the show. Gaming Nacho won, and he's chosen to not go for the games. He understands the mission. He understands ICU, and ironically, I'm not wearing my ICU hat right now, and neither is Bib. But he chose the ICU blackout baseball cap because he's got one, and he thought, fuck it, you know what? That shit's so good, I'll take another. So he's got himself another blackout baseball cap, which we'll send to him next week. If you want to bag yourself a hat or a game or whatever we're giving away, then all you need to do is sub to the channel. Subbing to the channel not only means that you get the world's best content that you could see on Twitch, ish. You also get an emote that says that, so you can use that whenever we say, dubious statements like that. But not only do you get access to our content, you get it ad-free, but you also get entered into a giveaway. Every month we give a prize back just to say thank you to everyone that supports our channel, and that is what the loot drop is. So do feel free to drop any primes, tier 1s, 2s, 3s, whatevers. We appreciate it. We'll take it all. We'll look after it. We'll keep it. It's nice. Tell you what else is nice, seeing you guys in the chat. Viv says, and mornish. I'll read. And then we get an after morning-ish from Phony Asteroid. Welcoming, dude. Slurkies, foodie workies. Nice. I've got food on the go over here. Half eaten. Munched. Chappers
not yet.
Says, hey up, Shaggers. I hope Shaggers.
Shaggers? Yes, I am. Do it like a shagger. Yes, I am.
Let me just hit Bibby's resub.
My name is Optimus Prime.
Am I a shagger? Yes, I am.
Yes, he
will
is.
You call me PC? We've got BB new. Yes, you will.
Will you call me PC? Yeah, you got it. You heard it.
PC
nice.
Jack McLaren. Yes, you will.
Will you call me PC? We've got BB new. Yes, you will. Okay, we've got BB new. Nice. Edgy Superhero, good morning-ish. If you're all in the stream, please do feel free to get involved. We have a few stories to talk about today, and we are going to go back to a story that keeps popping up and disappearing again, and then comes back again, because why not? And this is the fact that Xbox has, air quotes, bought Call of Duty. Ish. They are just about to buy Call of Duty. Obviously, it's still going through regulation stuff. And there was a really good bit of news the other day from Phil Spencer talking about Xbox are happy to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. They said that it will be feature and release date parity, something along those lines. It'll probably mention it in the first article. However, That sounded good. Jim Ryan from PlayStation, who is basically the opposite of Phil Spencer, he then came out and says, actually, wasn't going to mention anything, but seeing as they're talking about it, we'll say something. It's actually not that good. So we'll jump into that and have a little bit look at that. We'll then talk about PS5 getting a big update. We'll talk about Xbox Series X and S getting an update. CD Projekt, obviously yesterday being Wednesday, was the Night City Wire. We said we'll bring you the updates from that. We've got a couple of updates on that. And then Tencent continue with their quest to purchase the entire world. They have acquired a 49.9% stake in Ubisoft's parent company. Sheesh. So not a bad news day. Quite a bit of news. If you're finishing with that, nice. By the way, just want to welcome Tencent to the show. If you want to buy anything,
a new long-term partner.
Not yet, by the way. Not yet. We'll see. But first, Mr. Bibb.
Yes.
You interested in any Call of Duty this year? You fancy playing a bit of Modern Warfare?
Do you know what, Graham? Yes. But can I just make one clear-cut suggestion as to what we need in a new Call of Duty?
No, you can't. Sorry.
Well, I'm going to do it anyway.
Just
give me some fucking Search and Destroy, Graham. That's all I want. That's all I want back in my life again. A bit of Search and Destroy. Best game mode in Call of Duty ever.
Fine, we'll have a word. Nice.
Okay, let's do that.
Well, good news is that Call of Duty is coming to all platforms. It's coming to Xbox. It's coming to PlayStation. Okay, we're jumping to this article. Tom Ivan at VGC has the first story. It says, Sony says Xbox's offer to keep Call of Duty games on PlayStation is inadequate. So Xbox said it would keep the series on PlayStation for several years beyond the existing deal. Jumping into the article, Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Jim Ryan has called Microsoft's proposal for keeping Call of Duty on PlayStation consoles inadequate on many levels. End quote. Last week, Microsoft provided some clarification on its plans for the future of Call of Duty should its proposed acquisition of publisher Activision Blizzard get the go-ahead. In a statement to The Verge, Xbox boss... Oh, he nails it again. Phil Spencer... For anyone that's new to the channel, by the way, the reason that we make a deal of that and the reason this emote in the chat exists is because for some reason, my mouth couldn't figure out how to say Xbox boss for a long period of time. Xbox boss. Phil Spencer. Nice. So, yeah, there you go. Anyone that's new. Anyway, in a statement to The Verge, Xbox boss Phil Spencer said Microsoft had committed to making the series available on PlayStation for several more years. That's a quote. After Sony's current marketing deal with Activision expires. So Sony's deal expires. Then Xbox were open to keeping it there for several more years. Nice. But during this period, Call of Duty games released for the PlayStation, and during this period, Call of Duty games released for the PlayStation would have feature and content parity, Spencer said. While the Xbox exec claimed the offer, quote, goes well beyond typical gaming industry agreements, end quote, Sony's Ryan told GamesIndustry.biz that the company isn't satisfied with the proposal. Quote, I hadn't intended to comment on what I understood to be a private business discussion, but I feel the need to set the record straight because Phil Spencer brought this into the public forum, Ryan said. Quote, Microsoft has only offered for Call of Duty to remain on PlayStation for 3 years after the current agreement between Activision and Sony ends. After almost 20 years of Call of Duty on PlayStation, their proposal was inadequate on many levels and failed to take account of the impact on our gamers. We want to guarantee PlayStation gamers continue to have the highest quality Call of Duty experience, and Microsoft's proposal undermines this principle, end quote. The current deal, Call of Duty... The current deal, Call of Duty deal? Okay, great words, nice. Okay, the current Call of Duty deal between Sony and Activision Blizzard is believed to cover this year's Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2 and a new game from Black Ops developer Treyarch, which may not arrive until 2024. Microsoft's deal to acquire Activision Blizzard is currently being scrutinized by regulators concerned about potential antitrust issues. Do you know, okay, we're fine. We get it, it's fine. PlayStation, market share, all that jazz. Phil Spencer isn't happy. Phil Spencer's very happy, actually. Jim Ryan isn't happy. Phil Spencer's like, yeah, we're going to buy this. Yeah, it's fine. We're going to share it with PlayStation. It's all going to be good. Jim Ryan's like, actually, you're only going to give us 3 years. And what is he not happy with? is he not happy with 3 years? Is 3 years not a commitment? I know PlayStation usually go for like 5-year commitments from Call of Duty and things like that. Is that his issue, or is there more? Because to say inadequate on many levels, that implies to me that it's not just the amount of time that they want to commit. 3 years beyond the contract. Interesting. What are your thoughts, Bib?
You see, this well, not all of the news article here, but the heavy points that we've touched upon in this, I actually covered earlier on in the week, or it was late last week. It was one of the scoops where it was Tuesday. Yeah, so I think we had Call of Duty news on Tuesday, and albeit there's still more war of words going. The actual crux of it is still not. It's not been accepted or anything like that. So they're just still arguing about where it's going to sit and things like that. But my view of it is that I don't think that they are going to make this just an exclusive on that console. Like, I mean, if you are going to be buying something for £69 billion, the chances are you are going to want to make that your own. Do you know what I mean? You're going to want it under your own umbrella, very much like they're doing with the Bethesda deal. Like, we don't know whether or not the Elder Scrolls 6 is going to be just an Xbox exclusive, but all directions are pointing towards that being the case. And I don't blame them. It's an investment that they have paid for, that they want to be try and get as much money from as they potentially can. I still think it's a little bit dumb, considering that they have way more PlayStations out in the wild. And I did say that I would try and find some more stats, because this could be well out of it might not be relevant anymore. There could just be an update on it, but it was being sold 3-1 at one point, PlayStations to Xbox. That might not be the case now, but there's still a lot of ground to be made up from Xbox. So the fact that they may not have those games on the other console to try and bring in as much money as they potentially would have done if they do that, I can understand why. I can understand why they don't want to do that, because rather than having a PlayStation, they might want people to go, do you know what? I bought this PlayStation to be able to play Elder Scrolls. I can't anymore. I was waiting for it to come out. I can't. So I'll either get rid of my PlayStation and buy an Xbox so that I can do that. Or the thing, do you know what? I have £250 at this moment in time. I can afford to be able to splash out on a Series S. I can therefore be able to play it, and I'll have both consoles. I keep on saying that we're in a very luxurious position, and we're extremely grateful to be in a position that we are, where we do have an Xbox, a PlayStation, and also a gaming PC to be able to play all of these games. We're in a very privileged position to be able to do so. So I do think that them inadequate on many levels is it's a scathing statement that I don't think has any fundamentals behind it. I do believe that they probably think that, but in terms of what they have as their own IPs that they've probably let die. I think Jordan mentioned, I saw him tweet something earlier about having things like SOCOM and MAG that were PlayStation exclusives. Like, having those games at their disposal that they're doing nothing with is a bit of a shell shock, really. But in terms of a game like Call of Duty, it's the biggest game. Barring Grand Theft Auto, it's the biggest game that there is on the market. And I know, and I can say without having any marketing behind these games, that if you make one of these a console exclusive, that will skew the market a lot. But if you're paying the amount of money that they have every right to be able to do that. Yeah, it's like City buying Erling Haaland now. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was a worthy investment because of how much he's scoring now, and he is, fair enough, not at the top of the league table yet. But in terms of records being broken, he could potentially be the guy that leads us to it being a farmers league, because he is banging in so many goals left, right, and centre. That might become heavily one-sided, especially with, at this moment in time, Liverpool's downfall. Like, we have bought someone that can pretty much maybe monopolise the Premier League. That's exactly what they're doing at this moment in time. City have stumped the money. Xbox are stumping up the money to be able to make this their product, and they have every right to be able to do that.
The thing is, they don't, because you use the word monopolize. Monopolize, there is no right to have a monopoly, and that's why it's being investigated. So if it is a monopoly, if this is monopolizing, then they don't have the right to do that. If it's fair game, then they do have a right to do that. And that is where, I mean, I think it will go through as being fair game. And I don't actually blame Sony for having SOCOM and MAG and letting them disappear, because Xbox had a bunch of games that they've let disappear, because there's always, you either own the market or you just lose money in the market. And that in games has multiple different factions. That's the reason why PlayStation and Xbox don't have a leading football game, because if they tried, they're already behind the curve and so on. So PlayStation
Well,
and
they did for the longest time, didn't they? PlayStation had This Is Football, which was, at the time, a very good competitor to the likes of FIFA and Pro Evo, way back when on the PlayStation 1 and 2.
that's
It's Sony's decision to turn that down.
generations, though. That's
Yeah,
the the point being, the amount of money that was being put into that by the likes of EA meant it wasn't really viable for them to go after that. And the same thing with PlayStation in shooters. Why would we continue to develop Resistance, Fall of Man, and SOCOM and whatever, when there's other shooters out there that are doing it, and we could just work with them to make the platforms thrive, and we can then put our money into working for areas that aren't catered for. And now PlayStation have gone, shit, we've put all this money and time and effort into developing all these games, and they're not available now to our users. I mean, I get the fact that Microsoft have bought that. They can do what they want. The fact that those games are going to be on PlayStation consoles for 3 years, that's Microsoft's prerogative. It doesn't even have to be there be on the platforms for 3 years after it at all. For me, I would like it to be there, just because I would like every game to be available on every platform. Like we said already, obviously we have laughs about console and platform exclusivity. Even just this morning, we're taking the piss out of Tito Spider-Man in the Discord, because obviously big Marvel fan on Xbox. It's a shit situation, really. It is. Someone's missing out because someone's flexing cash or trying to fence post a certain area of the market for themselves. Ring fence, that's the one I want. And that's what Call of Duty is being used for here by Xbox. Xbox have realized, okay, we need games. We don't really have any good games, if we're being honest. I mean, they do. We don't have any games that are being successful. So, God of War, great series. Halo, great series. But Halo is a shit show. Look at how excited everyone was last year. We were talking about this earlier on in the week, and Halo is, to quote the news article that we had earlier on in the week, an infinite disappointment. It's just gone from pillar to post to be an absolute letdown. Or was it last week? Whatever. So, yeah, Xbox is spending because they need to catch up. Absolutely. Completely agree with that. I am intrigued to see what the inadequacies are, though. Inadequacies? Is that the word? I think we'll go with that one anyway. Because it being available for 3 years after the deal is still 3 years. What are the inadequacies on many levels? Because what we've had from Jim Ryan, and this is where it gets to like smoke and mirrors. Jim Ryan said, feature and content parity. So feature and content parity. Okay, what does that entail? So everything is going to be in the game. It doesn't actually mention release dates. So is it going to come out first on Xbox? And if it does, then that's a form of exclusivity. So it's not really feature parity in that sort of sense. In terms of feature, you can get around it in terms of the technicalities and meanings of the word. But if it comes out first on Xbox, then Phil Spencer is kind of being a bit underhanded with the way he's presenting that then. Oh, no, we want the games everywhere. Just be honest and say, we want to spend money on this brand because we want to build our brand. We're not spending money to make money for PlayStation. Just say that, if that's what you mean. Don't go with the, I'm going to say it with my chest, feature and content parity. Games for all. What was it they said? We want people that play our games to be able to continue to play those games in other places. It was something along those lines. They basically didn't want to say the word PlayStation when they were saying it. Wherever you play those games, we want you to be able to continue to play them. A month later on, I mean, you didn't say that bit though, and that's the bit where like Xbox can buy it and do what they want with it. I will have an Xbox by the end of the year, so it doesn't fuss me. It's fine, but don't be a dick with it. It's like. There was something on Kind of Funny that was a good way of saying it. I don't know if it was Paris or someone, and they were saying you can only take first party messages as gospel at the time they are said. Like PlayStation, we believe in console generations. We're going to make everything better on the PS5. Also, we're going to make everything on the PS4 as well now, because that's what we're going to have to do. Because it was true, they believed in it when they said it, and then the world changed. And the same thing with Xbox saying, do you know what? We don't want any form of exclusivity. Everything should be open to everyone. Just a couple of years ago, Phil Spencer said that. And now they own Bethesda and have instantly turned the screw a little bit in the opposite direction, and they're going to do the same with Modern Warfare. If you're going to do that, that's That's fine. Take Call of Duty and keep it to yourself, but just don't be a bit shitty with it. Just be open with it.
Yeah,
God damn.
I do feel like they had to be a bit more diplomatic with the wording. Up until this judgment's been passed, they have to be a bit more diplomatic with how they say things, because that could potentially be used against them in the ruling. Surely, if they just come out and say, "Yep, going to be an exclusive," and then in fact that wasn't their intention all along. It might have just been to poke fun and jibing like they have been doing, but obviously they can't do that. So I don't know. It's one of those things. It's like I said before, the monopoly thing. It's difficult to call. Only they know their own intentions as to what this is going to be. But PlayStation have had exclusive map packs and stuff like that for years. Didn't they have like Nuketown for the longest time?
Yeah,
which was only a PlayStation exclusive.
Both are guilty of it. Both are guilty of it completely. The thing is,
that's why it's hard to judge, it? Because you don't know who's actually telling the truth.
That's not the point, though. In that, I mean, in there, like PlayStation have had, they've had exclusivities with Call of Duty, and doesn't even the Modern Warfare beta come out first on PlayStation, and then does it come out the other one? So they're both as bad as each other. The difference is, Xbox tries to make it sound like it isn't, and that's the bit that I have the problem with, because it's all marketing, it's all business. People will want to buy what will earn them the most money, and they will want to sell it in a way that will guarantee that they will earn the most money and be the most successful. Business, fine. But don't do that. Yeah, everyone's going to play it everywhere in all the places. Apart from when we start changing. Oh, we didn't mean forever. Oh, we didn't mean that way. Oh, we didn't mean. And it's the what they're not saying, or the way things can be interpreted. That's the bit that I find shitty. Phil Spencer doesn't usually do that. But he has done that in a few big occasions, in a few big things. And that's what makes me look at this. Inadequate on many levels. The game coming out for 3 years after their current deal is not inadequate on many levels. If that's inadequate, fine. That is one level. What are the many levels? And I think the thing there is, Jim Ryan is clearly beholden to Xbox and Phil Spencer in this. Because they will be having meetings, even though Xbox and Phil Spencer don't own Activision Blizzard yet, they will already be having meetings discussing the next 5 years to get all of that stuff in place. And Phil Spencer basically has Jim Ryan over a barrel. So Jim Ryan won't be able to say anything here, because if Jim Ryan comes out and goes, well, Call of Duty wanted to give us this and that and the other, Xbox and Phil Spencer can go, oh, do you know what? We've used that as an opportunity to just stop talks completely. There'll be no Call of Duty on PlayStation now, and it's your fault. So Jim Ryan isn't saying anything here other than it's inadequate on many levels. He's saying what he can say, but there's a lot that's clearly not being said, and that's what I want to know. Like Phil Spencer, he's got to respond to this, because Phil Spencer made the comments in the first place. Jim Ryan has obviously said, where was it? I hadn't intended to comment on what I understood to be private business discussion, but I feel the need to set the record straight. Like, PlayStation we didn't know there was conversations there until Xbox going, yeah, we've got loads of plans for things. And now PlayStation can talk on what's already out in the public domain. That's NDA stuff. You will see. If you sign an NDA, there will be a line in there that says something to the tune of, you can't talk about anything that you get given as secret information until it's public knowledge, and then you can talk about it. So Jim Ryan's clearly under some form of NDA there, and he's going, well, don't want to do that, because if he breaks that NDA, he'll either get pushed financially or Xbox will just pull back. So I am intrigued. Yeah. I'm intrigued. Anyway, let me jump back through the comments. There's quite a lot of comments now.
Can I ask you one question before we move on then? No, before we start to read the comments.
No.
Well, I'm gonna fucking do it anyway. So, line in the sand then, when it comes to this, when it comes to Call of Duty and what it's going to be potentially available on, what are your honest opinions of where this could potentially go? Like, if they was to come out and say, right, this is going to be after the 3-year partnership, Xbox exclusive, like, what are your honest opinions of that, if that was going to be the case?
In what sense? Like,
so do you think that it will damage because that's essentially what this comes down to. Do you think it will damage video game landscape in terms of what this game is going to be available on and money just being taken by one side. Obviously, the PC side of things will still remain the same, I imagine. I don't think they're just going to pull it from PC because why the fuck?
Yeah.
I mean, I could arguably say the same thing about PlayStation, but in terms of the landscape of how this changes, like you could put the Grand Theft Auto in the same category if this was just going to be one game on one console. Do you think then that this changes the landscape of video games with such a big IP like this?
I think it does. I think if this becomes Xbox exclusive, I think it will lead a massive shift in terms of growth. And that might only lead to parity in the market, but it's still a massive shift. And looking at that the other way, if PlayStation bought it, and PlayStation are already 3-1, we'll go with that stat as if it's still up to date. We don't have any others, so it is as far as we know. PlayStation sells 3-1 to Xbox. If Xbox gets it and they get 25% of their the market, they go 50-50. That's a big move, but everyone goes, oh, it looks quite nice. But if PlayStation had done that the other way, then it goes, what, 5-1 kind of thing, which then looks like ooh, okay, that's a bit obscene. So I think it will change the market. I think it will be a huge seller for Xbox. And even if it doesn't go to console exclusive, I think it will still be a big deal because there's already conversations happening around the likes of Game Pass and having a game available on Game Pass for free, but then on other platforms as a paid function. There are already conversations starting about, is that some form of exclusivity? Well, it is arguably financial exclusivity, but you can still get access to the content. But conversations are now starting on whether that should actually be looked at more seriously as a form of exclusivity, because you are still putting quite a significant paywall before other audiences can get to it. So yeah, I think it'll be a massive shift. I think audiences will move to Xbox. I mean, I'm moving to Xbox anyway, in terms of it's going to be PS5 there, Xbox there, maybe there, I don't know, wherever. And they'll both be plugged into myself, so I can use them. Nice, let's go.
Yeah.
But
very privileged position for us both to be in at that point.
Yeah, exactly. Not everyone can be in that situation, but some people will have already had PlayStations and will get a PS5 as well. Some people will have just been waiting and PlayStation, get PS5, get an Xbox. Some people will have just been waiting and will be like, well, what's the choice? I mean, Xbox gives me shitloads of games for one subscription, and I get Call of Duty in that as well, which is one of the games that I play the most with all of my mates. So I think it will be a massive, massive impact on the market. And I don't blame Jim Ryan and other commenters in the case of saying that it will have a tectonic shift in the market. If anyone tries to say that it won't, I think you're either an Xbox fanboy or clueless, because Call of Duty was a huge part in Xbox being the lead brand and then PlayStation being the lead brand. I know that was massively fueled by Xbox dropping the ball and PlayStation picking the ball up and stuff.
Yeah.
But you chart the partnership of Call of Duty to the lead consoles, and they have been on the winning side both of the last generations. So that, plus the fact it was the number 1 and 2 selling game across the whole of last year. I mean, there's so many different stats that show that it will have a massive, massive shift. So understandably, PlayStation are shitting about this, because you would be. Yeah. It's a lot of money that not only you have invested, but also your users are invested. And when Jim Ryan says it's bad for their users, I don't listen to that. That's bad for his bottom line. That's what I listen to, because it's just PR speak, just in the same way that Phil Spencer will have something PR speak. Okay, you can read what he says. It's bad for our users. They're not going to be able to have the same experiences. No, what you mean is your users, if they can't play it, will go to Xbox. That's the issue. That's what he's actually got a problem with. But there are still some massive issues that come in with that. Anyway, we'll start to put a pin in this. I'm so hyped for the next COD, and even more hyped that I won't have to buy it, says Tito. AKA Jim Ryan. Oh, no, does it stop it? It start even further up? I think it does. No, it doesn't. Nicely done that, Graham. Thank you very much. That's the Xbox boss bit. Let's go. See that? I did it again 3 times in one stream. No cock-ups. Lovely. AKA Jim Ryan needs to stop being a little bitch. Keeps trying to dictate on an IP that he doesn't even own. Xbox doesn't own it. What's your point? I don't know if you can tell, but Jordan is a massive Xbox fanboy. Modern Warfare 2 looks like it's going to build on Modern Warfare 2019's fantastic game. Yeah, excited for it. Genuinely excited. Modern Warfare is my area of Call of Duty. When we got Black Ops, I know a lot of the world were like, oh, Black Ops, yeah, Black Ops 2. Nah, it was all right. It was not Modern Warfare. Not Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 3, yeah. But then we get to, obviously, last Modern Warfare. That's more my jam. Vanguard was good. Modern Warfare is me. Jim Ryan wants COD to be on PlayStation permanently. Phil said we'll give it 3 years extra, but it probably came with the caveat that Microsoft get to put all the next 3 CODs under contract on Game Pass. Sony have a very strong anti-Game Pass clause in their contracts, most likely, and Phil wants to remove it for all the next CODs. I mean, you are definitely an Xbox fanboy, just putting it in that way, because we spoke about this the other week. There was something about PlayStation negotiating to make sure games don't go on Game Pass. Obviously, we went with the clickbait title, but that happens anyway across the board with everything. When you sign a deal with one platform, you make sure it doesn't feature in the headline stuff on other platforms. That's just basic. But because Game Pass is obviously such a good deal for consumers, it makes clickbait headlines. So yeah, naturally PlayStation wouldn't want it to be on Game Pass if they're signing some form of partnership in there. I don't feel like PlayStation should have the ability to govern that. If Xbox buy it, it should be able to be in Game Pass. It's Xbox's title, and if they're releasing it with feature and content parity, if the fact that the cost is one of the other levels that he's not happy about, they've got it for 3 years and people have to pay for it on PlayStation, but they don't on Xbox, well, you should have bought it. It's their thing. They're still giving you access to it. What do you want? What do you want? Microsoft struggling with their own exclusives, so spending big, and they did very right to do so. Gears 5, that was all right. 2 seconds and it's gone. They get exclusives in Game Pass with the likes of... Was Back 4 Blood Game Pass? I know it was
on Game Pass day one, yeah.
So they get exclusive deals with third parties like Back 4 Blood day one. Boom. That's because Back 4 Blood is trying to fill the gaps that their own titles like Halo and Gears and so on haven't brought. Yeah, they had Forza Horizon, which was exceptional, but it's also not a long-term, long-life game for the majority of the market. So, yeah, they did need to fill the market. They spent 69 billion on plugging that gap, so they'd want to make some of that money back, surely. COD was like 17% of PlayStation's revenue or something, what I saw on an Insider Forum yesterday, so it's a huge loss for PlayStation with COD not being on there. I mean, I'll take that at face value for the conversation. It could be, it might not be, I don't know. I keep seeing variations of that stat, 17, 20, 10, whatever. It will be a huge percentage of PlayStation's revenue because they've had a big partnership with it. They've had access to maps and games and functions and betas and demos and stuff early. All exclusive shit that doesn't need to be there. But they've invested in building that for their platform, which is what made it so valuable for Xbox to take over. If PlayStation was so keen on building and investing that, then I don't see why they weren't there to buy it first. But yeah. But that is where the tectonic shift comes in. 17% of a business as big as PlayStation is a monumental loss to be looking at. I understand why there's worries there. Newsflash, Queen under medical supervision after doctors become worried about a decline in her health.
2 seconds, someone's at the door. 1 sec.
Okay. Extra bank holiday shortly. Fuck's sake, Tito. Maybe. Yikes. It will mean COD being on Game Pass day one, but not on PS Extra. PlayStation losing the exclusivity to extra content early, and sounds like they're throwing their toys out. I mean, I don't blame them for wanting to throw their toys out for getting access to it, but they've got early access to bits elsewhere. So if, let's say, next year's Call of Duty comes out on 3 years time, whenever the thing starts, the current deal ends and the next one starts. Let's say Call of Duty is supposed to come out on the 1st of November. If it comes out on PlayStation on the 1st of November and it comes out on Xbox on Game Pass on the 1st of November, I don't have a problem with that. Xbox, that is their model. They've built towards that. If it comes out on PlayStation on the 1st of November but comes out on Xbox on Game Pass on the 1st of October, I don't like that. But PlayStation have kind of got that with the first access to the betas coming up. So, I mean, it's kind of one of those things. So, yeah, I mean, they can't really throw the toys out of the pram because they're not getting extra content and exclusivity because Xbox are getting that. I just would rather, if the exclusivity is limited to Game Pass, there are conversations of whether that's too much exclusivity in the world, but it's just a payment mechanic. If it's on Game Pass and it's full price on PlayStation and not on PS Plus Extra or Essential or Premium or whatever it's called, then that's just hard lines. It is what it is. As long as it comes out day and date on the same systems, That's fine by me. If Xbox get access to the beta first, it's not the release date, so they can do what they want with that. Do what you want. Sony, and I've done that one. Sony, that's scared of losing COD, they resort to crying and playing the victim while they pay for games to not be on. Oh, bless him. Oh,
that is definitely the most one-sided comment I've ever seen. But like, my theory for exclusive games has always been, if it's your own studios creating them, then it's fair game. Like if Sony are the people who are creating their games, and then Microsoft Studios are the people who are creating their games, then that's where the first party games should stop. In terms of buying other companies that have well-established IPs, I do believe that it should be across all things. Like, does that make sense?
No, it does.
I feel like I've worded that well.
No, I agree. First-party games should be first-party games. Third-party games should be available everywhere. You get second-party, which you don't really get anymore as much. But second-party is where a third-party company makes a game specifically for a first-party platform, and it's exclusive to that. And this is effectively changing down. It's going down the gears. Call of Duty is a third-party game. It will soon become second-party game, and then that makes it a first-party game in that sort of sense. Which nobody really wants that, apart from Xbox fans. Call of Duty fans want to play Call of Duty on whatever platform they're on, and if that it incentivizes them to go towards Xbox, that's great. If they are forced into doing that towards Xbox, that's a different situation altogether. So I was going to mention something before you went down that line. So Sony's scared of losing COD. That's scared of losing COD. They resort to crying and playing the victim while they pay for games to not be on Game Pass, says Enix, just after he said that it accounts for 17% of their overall revenue. They're crying and playing the victim, but also they're going to lose 1/5 of their business almost. All right, mate. Where do we get to? You can have COD when Xbox gets Spider-Man. Deal. I mean, I believe Xbox should be getting Spider-Man, and they never will, obviously, because, Insomniac first party and stuff. But it's for something as big as Spider-Man, that should be on Xbox.
It should be everywhere. And a PC, everything. Like, first-party games on PlayStation have been moving over to PC for the last couple of years, so...
The difference, though, is that, obviously, it was paid for and funded, and that the success and that hype was built by PlayStation and Insomniac through E3s and promotions and two games following that, with the launch of Spider-Man, then Miles Morales, and the remastered version of Spider-Man. That hype was all done by PlayStation, whereas Xbox aren't exclusively. I've got Gardner outside. I don't know if you can hear that. If you can, I can't really do much about it. My apologies. Xbox didn't solo build Call of Duty, so I agree with what Bib said. Like, third-party games should be everywhere. That's kind of what it is, and I don't believe PlayStation have the right to be able to force that. But it's just it's what we spoke about before, morality versus legality. It's just the right thing to do versus, okay, well, I don't legally have to do that. So, okay. Yoda, welcome in. My cousins will lose their mind, all PS5 heads. I mean, it's still coming to PS5 for the next few years. And the thing is, by 3 years' time, on top of the years that are left on the contract, that's 4-5 years. We're already 2 years into the generation. I mean, it could just be a case of Xbox go, yeah, of course we'll continue making the game as long as we make the PS5 and the Xbox Series. Oh, by the way, we're making the Xbox 720 now, or whatever. It's like, oh, fuck. So the next gen could change things up again. Why would they pull it off PlayStation? Paying that many billions, it would lose so much cash if they did. Not financially viable. Well, that's the thing, though. There's so many different questions here about financial viability. Is Game Pass financially viable? There has been numerous people, both in PlayStation's camp and external independent finance gurus, that have all said Game Pass does not make the money it needs to make the games it needs. So,
well, if Call of Duty is going to be on there,
I mean,
that pays for itself, doesn't it?
I mean, but that will pay for itself. But then it also has to make up 69 billion to start, and then if they wanted, so they were working at the cash level of having a high profile release every month, but a blockbuster AAA release every quarter. It was something like, what was it? It needed 500 million Game Pass subscribers or something like that to be able to churn money. Xbox clearly don't care because they could just go, okay, we'll dip into the bank of mum and dad, which just happens to be Microsoft, so they can 69 billion. Yeah, okay. Do you want that in 10s or 20s?
So just go behind the sofa.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not financially viable, but if you kill the entire market, then you are financially viable because you're the only thing left. So that's where the conversations crumble down to it. Is this Microsoft? Microsoft got fined so much over the years for just strangling other businesses to death rather than being good at what they did, which made them good at what they did because they were the only ones left. And is that
How do they come up with this amount of money though? Like, who's just sat down and go, okay, we've just had Activision at the door. They want to, Microsoft are like, oh, we just had Activision at the door. They want to, we wanted to be able to take them over. We want Call of Duty, and they're like, okay.
68.9 billion, please.
Yeah. and someone's just gone, yes. I think that's doable.
What's happened is someone's gone there and gone, should we say 70 billion? And then Activision guy's gone 70 billion. And then Blizzard guy going, yeah, but 70 just sounds too neat, doesn't it? We can't make it 70. Okay, well, what about 69 then? Oh, no, because that's just too rude. Okay, what about 68.9? Okay, yeah, let's go with that one. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, nice. Yeah, 68.9 billion. There we go. We'll have that.
It's such an unfathomable amount of money. Obviously, it's not to these people and their dealings in the industry that they're in, but it's not like taking out a mortgage on a house and then repaying it back every single month for the next 25 years. Like, these businesses need that money now. So, like, is this on tick? Like, are they paying a certain amount per month, or are they just doing what's your bank transfer number and we'll get that sent over right away? Like, I need to know that's the biggest
catalog.
thing I need to know.
It's like getting Littlewood's catalog. You sign up and you pay it off a little bit each year, kind of thing. Yeah, that's what it is.
They've got an Argos card. Fucking great. Did we get club card points or like? I need to know how these deals go down. That for me is the most important thing about this. Like, how are they giving the money over? Is it just going to be a couple of vans with money in the back?
For most businesses, it will be like, oh, we need to get ourselves into debt to get the money, and then we'll pay it off over a few years. But for Microsoft, it literally could just be a few vans. I mean, literally 10s or 20s. What would you prefer?
They're looking at their clear score just to make sure that they can afford it.
NX, in response to why would they pull it off PlayStation? That's not the point. Microsoft have a ridiculous amount of money. It's all about Game Pass numbers, lol. Imagine COD day one on Game Pass versus £70 on PS5. It will pull people over. Then it's word of mouth with people moving over to Xbox platform. And that's it. And that is how it will work. Why would I spend 70 quid when I can spend that 70 quid and get 3 months of Game Pass, 4 months, 5 months, whatever the cost is, play it until I'm bored of it, and then do it again next year. But I will also have access to 1,000 other video games at the same time. People will be like, okay, well, I'll just do that. Nice.
Disney's Dreamland does the Dream Valley or whatever it's called. I'm in that situation now. Yeah, like, could I buy that now on my PlayStation 5 for 30 quid or whatever it is and play it and enjoy it? Absolutely. But it's on Game Pass right now, and Samantha was playing it last night. I thought, this looks fucking mint. I have now installed it on my PC so I can play it as well. Like, why would I do that? That would have cost me £70 if it was £35 a game. Whereas I'm playing it now for the low price of about £8 a month. So who's a real winner here? It's the consumer. It's the consumers that are winning.
And that's what it comes down to is it's favouring the consumer to the point where it's a damage to the entirety of the market. And the damage to the entirety of the market eventually damages the consumer because it gets rid of competition, which then means that the consumer can have the prices pushed up on them. And that's where the steps come into it anyway, but that's long-term economics. The board will have a discussion with the transfer committee and scouts to see if an approach should be made at this time, chappers. I don't know what that's about. Don't know what that's about. I missed it. Invite me on clubs. Oh, there we go. Nice. Get me on that training ground. I'll show you what I can do. Nice. I mean, I've seen what Tito can do. So, Tito, if you just want to jump on the bench, chappers, you could start. It's fine. Fine. Nice. Cost to buy COD, 60 to 70 quid. Cost to buy an Xbox Series S and COD on Game Pass. Simple economics, isn't it? Economics in it, exactly. That's it, 30% of the way there. And that's the difference. That's the reason why you saw a bunch of people that were PlayStation stalwarts, because all they played was baseball. And then baseball, which is made by PlayStation Studios, was free air quotes, on Game Pass. So a lot of people went, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go over to Xbox so I can play PlayStation Studios games in the best place to play them because it doesn't cost me anything. So, well, apart from your monthly stuff, obviously. Makes no odds to me. I have enough Microsoft points to buy the big version, so free COD. Let's go. Then add the cost of an SSD expansion so you can play other games aside from COD. Nice one, Iceman. Nice. Yeah. Well, I've got an SSD. It was Gaming Week on Amazon last week. This week it might have just finished. The 1 terabyte expansion was down to like 100 quid. So
Copped it.
yeah. Well, I didn't. Danielle did. It's one of my. She was like, "What do you want for Christmas?" I was like, "No, I need." So yeah.
So you're getting an Xbox for Christmas? Is that what you're saying? Is this what all roads are leading towards?
Well, the end of the year is quite heavy for our relationships sort of stuff. So the 1st of October is our anniversary. Then obviously December 3rd is my birthday, just in case anyone didn't know that. Then obviously December 25th is Christmas, and then the start of January is Daniel's birthday.
Whoa! You're forgetting something else in between that.
You're not in my household, are you?
I mean, I am right now. No, just
touche. And something happens around, is it like 9th, 10th, 11th, I don't know, something there. I can't remember.
You were right the first time.
No,
you was right the first time.
I know, but I'm trying to make it sound like it's not important. 9th, 10th, 11th, somewhere.
It isn't. I'm only 32. Don't worry about it.
You old bastard, mate. 37 this year. Fuck's sake.
You actually, it's bad that.
Yeah, it could.
Like you're on a 1-year rolling contract in the non-league sector now.
I remember
I've got one big contract left in me.
I remember when I hit. I think it might have been when I hit 32. It was either 32 or 28. It was. Hold on, no, it must have been 32. Steve Merritt, who used to do Konami PR for Pro Evo, PES, eFootball now. His comment on my Facebook or Twitter or whatever it was, he was like, if this was Master League, I'd be looking to sell you right about now. And it was like, it hit me. I was like, oh no.
That's the worst thing anyone's ever said to you.
Gutted. It's my fucking birthday. How can you say that to me?
So.
Yeah, true. I mean, could be worse. I could be 32 and look 37 rather than 37 and look 32. Woo! Worst thing you ever said? Times 2. Nice. Where did we get to? I'll be exclusive for the right price. Ask Mrs. Viv. Yeah. Yeah. Bow, bow, bow.
I love how you're pimping your ass out.
I have over 500,000. I think I might just have enough. Yeah. For me, it's COD, so it can fuck off straight away. Give Flight Sim and the next gen Persona 5 Royal any day. P5R initially to see if there's any actually any real differences compared to the PS4 version. So yeah, for me, Flight Sim looked nice, but after I tried to crash into my house and possibly other famous landmarks, I don't know, then I'd probably turn it off. So I'd play more COD. So COD is more relevant for me. I play Gunfight still from Modern Warfare. It wasn't on PS. If it wasn't on PS, would there still be players 3 years down the line? How do you mean? I mean, like, would Xbox have the same pull? I'll pick up the pace though. I need to move on. We're only on story number. Is this the first story? It is still the first story. Fuck! As an owner of an Xbox, speaking for all Xbox owners and Microsoft as a whole, fuck Spider-Man. To be fair, I think the biggest thing people talk about is Final Fantasy VII Remake, still not on Xbox, but its sister games, Crisis Core, are day one on Xbox, unless that's Sony's strategy to get people hooked into the Final Fantasy VII universe with CC, but they will have to buy a PS5 for Final Fantasy VII Remake. Possibly. Let's just hope it's not a flustercook of a game with all the recent release flustercooks. Yeah, same. It probably would have been higher, but Active games have been on a huge decline over the last 4 years, and all the brand damage with Kotick, etc. So it made it a lot cheaper, I think. So Microsoft probably dipped in while it was cheap. That is facts. I did see that in an article. There was people, I think it was board members within Activision were kicking off and tried to cancel the acquisition because they thought it was sold at a ridiculously low share price. We have had that one on the scoop previously, so it was sold cheap. It's clearly via Amazon cards over a dodgy phone call. You scratch off the tell us the number on the back. Yeah, nice. There's something like 100 million subscribers to Game Pass. That gives Microsoft a huge amount of money coming in every month. Gives them such spending power. Yeah, but to have a fully established marketing strategy as they were talking about. So someone did the maths on it. We had it on the scoop. It was like, I mentioned it a second ago, to have like a major release every month and then to have your big AAA release every quarter as a first party sort of thing. That to pay for that without having your off the shelf game costs and just paying off of subscription, Microsoft would need 500 million subscribers paying into Game Pass, which if you're on 100 million already, you think 500 million is not that much. Oh, it's already 20% there. But if you think of how many consoles get sold in each generation and so on, and like they were basically predicting to get anything beyond 250 million is fucking extreme. So to double that, Microsoft they've got to convert the mainstream audience, not video gamers and not people on the periphery of video games, but everyone, like Spotify, get everyone in it kind of thing. Obviously not everyone's in Spotify, but you know what I'm saying. How would anyone not know that? You spend 10 months a year telling us. Telling you what? I can't remember what I said. I don't know what I said.
About your birthday.
Oh, okay. Graham, you don't look too bad, 47. My ears are failing me at this age. Your eyes are too, mate. Because I look fucking haggard, mate. Still can't believe that FS treats Old Trafford as a point of interest worthy of a 3D rendered model, but the Etihad is as flat as a pancake. FS. Oh, Flight Sim. I mean, mate, you know me. Yeah, people forget mainstream audience only play FIFA and COD. Yeah, exactly. Hashtag Amazon Music. No. Do have it, but only because it came free with Prime. Anyway, okay, we'll put a pin in this article. We have been speaking about this for quite a while. We're going to pick up the pace and jump through a few of the other ones. The next article, sticking with PlayStation, we can gloss over this one pretty quickly, even though it is a big update. Sherif Saed at VG247 has this. It says, Sony has released the latest PS5 firmware update to the public, which is an update with a highly requested new feature. And if you do listen to the scoop religiously, will be aware of what this is because we covered this a few weeks ago. Excuse me. So the chief new addition is support for 1440p resolution, which is very useful for players using their PS5 with a PC monitor or any display that can only go up to 1440p. This resolution is a midway point between the aging 1080p and the demanding 4K. Previously, the PS5 was only able to detect either. So we did have that before. I will come off of this article because I do know what the other main thing that the update had in it, and that was folders. The fact that you could have, I think it was 15 folders, each folder having 100 games in them on your console, which I was like, that's pretty good. There's more than enough. That's fucking 1,500 games that you can put on your console. Apparently, it's a bit shit, though. Apparently, the folders don't actually just appear on your console. You have to kind of pretty much go right down to the end of your bar to get them, which is almost the same as going to the library that exists there already. So they've kind of taken an update from the last gen and not really done it very well. So there you go. 1440p is good for people that need it, though. Folders might be good for the people that use it, although from the people that do use it, not me, because, I don't have enough space to install 1,500 games on PlayStation because they're fuck that. It's not as good as it could be. Anyway, moving away from PlayStation updates, let's jump into this one. Tom Ivan at VGC says, a new Xbox Series X and S update adds party chat noise suppression feature today. There's also a new way to launch games from friends' shared captures on mobile and PC. So Microsoft is rolling out a new Xbox Series X and S update, which introduces a party chat noise suppression feature, which is great because Tito's just got Discord sorted on his Xbox, and I don't want to be listening to what he's listening to. Anyway, the company said noise suppression helps remove sounds like gamepad clicks, breathing, and background noises from parties. The feature can be enabled or disabled by pressing the Xbox button to open the guide, selecting parties and chats, and then choosing options. Microsoft said noise suppression will be coming soon to other devices. The company has also announced a way for players to launch games from friends' shared captures on mobile and PC. Now, when players receive a shared game clip, they're given the option to select to play to join their friend's game right away directly in a browser with cloud gaming. See this shit? Stuff I would never think of, but it's just cool to just be able to do that. This is the cool stuff that Microsoft brings to the table. None of the fucking arguments about whether they should or shouldn't be keeping things for themselves and not sharing with friends or something. This is where I want to see Xbox putting their time and effort into making things just accessible. Xbox, ironically, has the word box in their title because you can play Xbox games without a box. All you need is a browser. You can do that on your phone, on your PC, on your laptop, whatever. And if I go, Bibby, look at this, is fucking great. Look at that. I'll just kill this guy on PUBG. Oh, Bibby's like, oh, that's great. I can jump in. Boop. And then, oh, Bibby's in the game. Oh, let's go. Wait. Fucking nice. Said it before, Man City fans wouldn't know what the Etihad looked like, so it would be a waste of time. Harsh but true. This is funny, Asteroid. Could have done with it the other day when playing pro clubs. All we could hear was someone farting loudly. It wasn't me.
I wasn't playing pro clubs.
Did anyone watch PUBG last night when Bibby jumped on? He absolutely laid a couple of eggs in that stream, so...
Don't know what you're talking about.
Never do I. It was more like a train, though. It wasn't like a heart. It was like a heart. What were that? Decent update from Microsoft. It is a decent update. Noise suppression. It's a leaf out of Discord's book. It's PlayStation's party chat shit is shit, and Xbox are just steaming ahead with that, so it's nice. Okay, what are we on? We're still okay. We've still got a little bit of time to jump over the Cyberpunk things. We won't jump into this too much. We might shelve the 10-cent one though, depending on how long it takes us to go through. But Tom Ivan at VGC has the next story. CD Projekt fully committed to Cyberpunk Beyond 2077's sole expansion. The game's only major DLC, Phantom Liberty, will be released next year. So CD Projekt has said it remains fully committed to building the Cyberpunk IP following the news that it's only planning a single expansion for 2077. One expansion. Yikes. Developer CD Projekt Red announced Cyberpunk's first expansion, Phantom Liberty, on Wednesday. It later said the DLC, which is coming to PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and Stadia in 2023, is the only planned expansion for Cyberpunk. During CD Projekt's half-year earnings call on Wednesday, executives were asked to provide further details on the company's... Fuck me, can you hear that?
Someone sharpening a pencil.
It's the lawnmower outside kind of jobby. But anyway, during the call, people were asked to provide details. Quotes, on the question on further expansions for Cyberpunk, we decided to develop one major expansion, which is going to take advantage of all the capabilities of the new-gen consoles, said Mikhail Novakovsky, CD Projekt's SVP of Business Development. Having said that, we're fully committed to developing the Cyberpunk IP further. So beyond this particular expansion, we've put a lot of effort and time into building this franchise, and we definitely want to continue to build upon what was built right now with new stories, new experiences, new content, not just in a video game format, but I'll leave it here. So in terms of expansions, there's going to be just one major expansion. However, there's going to be new stuff in the future. Interesting. So Cyberpunk, which had this roadmap of all of the things, it's going to be around forever, has one expansion. Bib, thoughts?
Yeah. I need to play Cyberpunk. I don't think it's going to get any better, which is obviously what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for more to happen with it to make it the game that I wanted in the first place, but I don't think that's going to come now. I think they're just going to be kind of happy with where it's at. We'll sort the DLC out and then maybe be able to package them both up and be able to pay full price for it again. I think that's what their aim is for this. So I feel like I need to crack on with it, Graham. I feel like, again, it's not. I've just said it. It's not going to get any better. So I just kind of need to crack on with it.
Just leaned over and grabbed my copy out the drawer just because I have to, because we're talking about Cyberpunk. Here's my copy, which I got for the PS4, which is still in its cellophane wrapper because same. I'm waiting for it to be the best it could be, and it probably is. If they were only going to have one major expansion, they did say they are fully committed to Cyberpunk after that, but that to me is PR-ish sort of, yeah, we'll probably do some quality of life upgrades and stuff, but then we'll bury this as soon as we can because it was dead on arrival. It wasn't dead on arrival, you know what I mean, with all of the drama that's gone with it. And then we'll look at building the franchise in TV, probably a Netflix animated series or something like that. And then after we've got The Witcher or something coming out, maybe at that point we can then look at bringing a Cyberpunk back and trying to do it properly next time round. Is there a button to Spider-Man or an X to Jason in the X-Block update? No. I don't think there is. Murdy Smoke, welcome in, dude. Major expansion, Cyberpunk 1.0. Yeah, I mean, they've already gone back 2076. God damn. The Series S update is brilliant. Great to see a tough to run game. Look and run great on a cheap machine. Sounds like PS5 coil line. What this does outside or the Xbox? you need to specify. Yeah, the Series S is class. I mean, Tito always says if you're going to get Series X, get yourself a Series S and an air fryer instead. Nice.
There you go, bosh.
I'm not gonna lie, I never gave it a shot. Yeah, I mean, I didn't. I mean, I did in terms of we pretty much called our show the Cyber Scoop for about 3 months leading up to it because every day was a new story on Cyberpunk. Oh, it's great. New City Wire this. You're going to be able to do that. Massive dildos this. Yeah. And then it was like, okay. In the last 2 weeks, it was like, nobody's played it yet. Nobody's getting copies. They're only giving out one copy and it has to be on PC. And you're not allowed to share any footage. And you can only share the footage that they've previously recorded and given to you. This all sounds like bullshit. And it turned out it was. So that is the reason why I got it. Danielle bought it for me and it remains in its cellophane wrapper because, yeah. I do want to play it. It just, I mean, the people that have played it have, I think, almost unanimously said it's a good game. It's not decent, it's good. Decent is average, good's better than good, but it's not great. It's not great. Even when you get into it and it works, it's still not a great game, as we were all hoping.
Good for me is like a 6 out of 10.
Yeah. I've been told like 6 to 7s to maybe 8 sort of realm for the people that have played it. But with everything that we had in the build-up, that fucking 17 years of build-up that we had for Cyberpunk, we all thought it was going to be a 10 out of 10 game. And the fact that it's not even made it to conversations for 9s and it's scraping into 8s maybe.
Yeah.
Makes you think there's nothing wrong with a 6 or a 7 game. It's just what we expected, and that's the difference. It's the expectation versus reality. Still no desire to load Cyberpunk. Yeah, I will do at some point. Howdy. Sherif Woody, howdy. Cyberpunk should be right on my street, and it runs in Ultra on my laptop, but not really got into it. Yeah, I would play Cyberpunk as long as it's on Game Pass. Let's go, baby. Maybe one day. Especially when CD Projekt changes their focus to our next bit of news, which we'll have as our last story for today. This is from Tom Ivan at VGC. It says CD Projekt says Witcher 3's new gen release is on track for late 2022. So obviously, as mentioned, there was a CD Projekt update, and this is going from that. So following a couple of delays, the game will arrive in the fourth quarter of the year. CD Projekt has confirmed that the updated version of The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt remains scheduled to be released for new-gen consoles and PC later this year. During the company's first half earnings call on Wednesday, CD Projekt President and Joint CEO Adam Kaczynski said the game is on track to release during the fourth quarter of 2022. He also said the company expects its new Witcher saga, which was announced in March, to consist of more than one game. Witcher 3's new gen release was originally scheduled to live last year before being delayed until the second quarter of 2022. Mr. Bibb.
Yes.
The man that owns The Witcher. Are you looking forward to playing it on the new gen?
Yes. I'm going to be brutally honest, Graham. I never got round to finishing The Witcher. So being able to go back in, I'm going to...
I'm going to interrupt you because I think that's pretty embarrassing, if you ask me. The fact that you bought it and didn't finish it. The only thing I could think that would be worse than that is buying it and just not even starting it.
Not even installing it.
Correct.
Like 95% of our game libraries at this moment in time. Like, we can't be the only people in this world that doesn't have enough. Well, I mean, you have a lot more time than I do, but you just play one game. Well, sorry, no, we cleared that up this morning. You play Fortnite for about 10 days a season.
Yeah, which is this period. It's about 9 days left of the season or something like that. So I need to.
This is where Graham gets involved. So we cannot be the only people in the world that ends up being like this. But yeah, it's from what I played, I absolutely loved it. It's going to look even better on PlayStation 5, on Xbox Series X/S. It's more Witcher. What more can you ask for?
Exactly. That was a great segue. Clap. Whispers Steam sale. I think I actually got it in the PlayStation sale. I'm pretty sure Bibi pointed towards a PlayStation sale. It was like £3, £4, £5, £6 or something. I was like, yep, I'll get that.
Yeah, and you got it. And you got the free upgrade. Unbelievable value for money.
I mean, really, I only got it because I was waiting for the upgrade and I wasn't planning to play it. So I actually did exactly what I intended to do with it. Ish.
Can't be that.
Yes, nice. Cyberpunk. I've done that one. I've done that one too. Okay, we're up to it. Nice. So there you go. Witcher 3's new gen release is on track for late 2022. Kind of says it all. Great game. Even better for new gen consoles, new systems, and we'll plug a gap before we get the next series of The Witcher as well, which, not no pun intended, is decent for CD Projekt. Changed the conversation. I mean, they were a well-revered company that's just a bit of a laughing stock. So the fact that there's only one update coming to Cyberpunk, and the fact that we're pushing ahead into Witcher 3, there's a new Witcher confirmed, which will have multiple titles off the back of it. They clearly just want to get their hands clean of everything that came before and just get back to what they do now. Nice. G is now waiting for the pay update.
Mm-hmm.
What? They're going to pay me? I'll play
I'm about to say, yeah.
I'll play it right now. God damn. Oh, everything's kicking off outside. On that note, I'm going to use this as a moment to say we are done. Thank you, everyone that's joined us in the stream. Appreciate you all being here.
Have you died?
I've died. Can you not hear me?
Oh, no, I couldn't.
Hello?
I can hear you now.
Okay, maybe Discord just cut it off because there's a lawnmower and shit going on outside, so Discord's just saved you from my shit. So yes, what I was saying is that we're going to finish things up and we're going to leave. But before all that happens, is there anything you want to add, Mr. Bibb?
I think I've just does anything that you want to add, Bibb? So I will go ahead.
Yes.
Fantastic. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us for today's episode of The Scoop. We greatly appreciate it. That's 4 episodes down. There is 1 more to go. So if you want to help shape that show, there is 2 ways that you can do so. First of all, find us on social media. It is at Ice Cream Uploads across all major social media platforms, or alternatively, get involved with our Discord. All the links that you require will be listed in the description below if you're watching this on any of our on-demand services. But all we need from you is a URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show, which will be at what time? Tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day.
Unmuted because the lawnmower was buggered off again. 10 a.m. Lawnmower sound like you're in a horror movie where someone's coming after you with a chainsaw. It sounded like that to me, to be fair.
Yeah. Someone's playing Lawnmower Simulator.
And all that shit. Anyway, we are done. We appreciate you sticking around for the stories. For those that missed it, you can watch it all back on demand, or you can check it out on YouTube later on. Do stick around, though, because we're going to drop a raid on the hat winner himself, Mr. Gaming Nacho. Let's go say hi. Do feel free to join the raid as we go over and say hello. How you doing? How you doing?
Hello there.
But that's it from us. Have yourselves a beautiful day. Until next time.
Stay frosty!